Good morning, YTPC. Philly Piper Mike here. It is Tuesday, August 17th. Currently 73 degrees, going up to 82. Today would have been my dad's 67th birthday. We lost him in March of 2016. So it's been 5 years without him. To you, Pops. Miss you. Today I'm smoking my newly acquired Gillespie from the Stummel Works. Morta. I guess you would call this like a big old chunky apple. It's got a Juma stem. Juma. Awesome grain on this. Nice big bowl head. Smokes like a champ. I got it yesterday. Smoked it last night. It was awesome. Stuffed it with some aged Orla Golden Slice. Jim had sent me some Germain's Rich Dark Flake. I was going to break it in with that, but I kind of want to enjoy that. He sent me a couple bowls, and actually Ryan McCauley, who I got my other pipe from, he sent me some Rich Dark Flake. And he also sent me some, what I'm smoking in this today, some McClelland 5100 Red Cake from 2014. Which I had never had before he sent it to me. I never really wasn't into like Red Virginias back when I first started, and then obviously McClelland went away. I was never able to get my hands on it. I never tried to. I got rid of most of my McClelland blends. Because, you know, I knew I couldn't get them anymore. I didn't have a lot of them. I had probably like 4 tins of the 40th anniversary and a bunch of other like stuff that I had tried. I had jars. So I got rid of all that stuff just to not have the one, you know, oh man, let me get more of this. Let me pay through the nose. This is really good. I mean, if this was in stock, especially if it was bulk, I would smoke this a lot. I would cellar it. I really would. Really delicious. But I'm glad I got to try it, but it's not something I'm going to go try to get. And the Sutliff 515, it's similar. It doesn't have that ketchup McClelland Virginia flavor. It's got the tang, the vinegar, but it doesn't have like the full ketchup. And that's what this has. Really good. I mean, that's the only thing I can really I can compare it to that I've had is the Sutliff 515, which obviously is, you know, trying to go after that spot in the market left open when 5100 went away. But yeah, if you're looking for a really nice, reasonable pipe, Jim makes some really cool mortar pipes. I know there's a few other guys, Daniel Seaman, Sebastian, and I think celebrating. I think he got one too. They're all real cool though. What I like about it is it's light, clenches well, smokes like a freight train, and I like that it's got a big bowl head. I mean, I packed this thing last night, smoked it for almost 2 hours, and there was plenty more to go around. I could have smoked it for a lot longer, but it's definitely outside my normal, pipe shape. I'm not normally like a shorter pipe guy, and I'm not normally like a bulbous apple guy. I'm more of like a billiard guy, stack, straight billiard. But I saw these, and I was like, dude, they're just a cool looking pipe. And yeah, also I gotta say, this is the first stem made from Juma that I've ever had. I like it a lot. I don't know if the upkeep's any different. Like I love acrylic just because I hate dealing with ebonite or vulcanite. Like the upkeep and the maintenance and the having to clean it and all the oxidation that it gets and all that crap. So this is softer than acrylic, probably a little harder than vulcanite. So we'll see. I mean, obviously the color is cool. So we'll see how it holds up. But initially, I really like this stem material. But yeah, the 5100 is really, really smooth. It's got that tang, that Red Virginia tang. It's not like crazy ketchupy like some other McClelland blends, but it's there. Which, if you like Red Virginia, you obviously like that vinegary, ketchupy flavor profile. Really good. Yeah, I mean, I've come around to Red Virginias, not when I first started smoking, but like in a couple years. I remember, I forget, there's a couple of Red Virginia blends. I think like that Sutliff Red Virginia, like the crumble cake. I remember smoking one of it. I don't know if it was the pipe that I smoked it in. I haven't tried it since. It was just like bitter. I mean, like so vinegar in your face that like my mouth would just water uncontrollably when I smoked it. And it was like I was like, sticking my tongue on a battery. Really, really weird. I was like, oh, how does anybody like this? But then I think the first Red Virginia that really like got me to come around was the Cornell and Deal Carolina Red Flake. That was a lot more mild. I don't know what it was with that Sutliff crumble cake, the Red Virginia, but it's like punchy in your face, like vinegar, sour, Red Virginia tang. And actually, I think I might have to go back and revisit that and see if I still have the same reaction to it now that there are some Red Virginias that I enjoy. I mean, I like Red Virginian blends. I have, a lot of vapors, stuff like that, but I kind of shied away from straight Red Virginias just because they were a little bit too much, a little too vinegary and bitter. But this one, and I don't know if it's combined with the fact that it's got 7 years of age on it, but it's delicious. And I'm probably gonna do the dark flake tomorrow. And then I also have some tobaccos that Jurgen sent me that I'm going to do this week. I haven't tried them yet. But yeah, if you're looking for a nice mortar pipe, he makes other shapes than this too. This is the one that's been pretty common going around lately. I just love how it's, it's not a huge pipe, but it's light. It's got a nice big bowl head. It's real comfy. It smokes real cool. Obviously being that it's mortar and being that it's got a big, thick walls of the chamber, it smokes great. I mean, even for, I smoked it last night. Usually when you smoke a pipe for the first time, you can tell. I mean, it's kind of rough around the edges, and you get like it can hit you in the back of the throat. This smoked perfect from the first light. I was really impressed. And this thing to my door was $130. So for a handmade pipe, Jim couldn't be nicer. Customer service was awesome. His interaction, just a really nice guy. So yeah, I mean, and that's what I found with a lot of the guys on the page. The New Age Pipe Smokers page. Just a great bunch of guys. A lot of them, not all of them, but good amount of younger guys too. Like my age, I'm 40, probably younger too, a little older, but great sense of humor. Everybody just has a great time. Kind of breaks each other's balls here and there. Just real awesome page. I really enjoy it. It's definitely been my favorite, aside from like the Virtual Pipe Club. But and I love the Virtual Pipe Club and that page. This is like just more my demographic, my sense of humor, my age group, So it's the mayor runs a good page, and he's always got a good comment, always got a something up his sleeve. So I enjoy it. But anyway, I've rambled on enough. I made it to work pretty quick. It's only 13 minutes. Usually it's a 15, 16-minute ride, but I did come in a few minutes earlier than I normally do. Got some stuff I got to do today, but you guys have a great day. Hope everybody had a good start to their week. It's going to be kind of a little overcast and cooler today. Yeah, if you have a pipe in honor of my pops, if you drink, have a drink in honor of my pops. He was a great guy. Battled severe heart disease. He had an LVAD, which was what's called a left ventricular assist device. He basically needed a heart transplant for years. And what they did was they cut him open. And then they implanted basically a pump, like a mechanical pump, little motor that they tied into his left ventricle and his right aorta. And then he had a drive line like coming out of his side at all times. And he was hooked up to either, if he was on the go, he had two batteries. He had like a controller that he wore around his waist. And he had like these two batteries. And then after, like when he was home, and if he was like in bed or whatever, like he hooked up to the station, like this like docking station where it would just power the machine completely. And then he would charge his batteries. His batteries would last for like, I think 12 hours for each pair. But it saved his life. I mean, he lived like that for 5 years. he was in like late stage heart failure, needed a heart transplant. He had cardiomyopathy and a large heart, and he would have died. He was down to like 110 pounds. He couldn't get out of bed, and he finally got this life-saving surgery, which a lot of people, if you're younger, or if you're a better candidate for a heart transplant, they call it a bridge to transplant, which it basically sustains you until you get a heart, a donor heart. But with him, they call it destination therapy, I guess it was he was going to live with that for the rest of his life. And unfortunately, what happened, he came up to the shop one day and he was talking to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, the white of your eyes are yellow. You're like jaundice." And he's like, "Dude, I've been on 20 medications for like 30 years. He's like, "My eyes are always kind of yellow." And I'm like, no. Like, your eyes are yellow. I took a picture of his eyes and I showed it to him. And he was like, wow. So that was on a Monday. He went down to Penn, I guess on Wednesday. My mom convinced him to go. And what they had found was that there was a blood clot. He was on commute, which is a horrible drug. It's a blood thinner. He used to have to go get his levels checked, weekly at the commute clinic, and they would say, all right, your blood's too thick. You need to take more. Your blood's too thin. You need to stop, take a couple less. And he was in the hospital multiple times for internal bleeds, like lower GI bleeds, upper GI bleeds. He almost died a couple times from them not being able to figure out where he was bleeding. He'd be, not to get graphic, but he would have blood in it, like straight blood in his stool, and they would have to, do an endoscopy or up his butt, whatever, and try to find where the blood, where the, he was bleeding from, and then try to cauterize it or staple it. And a couple times he almost died from that. But so they found that he had a blood clot in the little like motor, the little like blade pump. And that Friday they're like, there's Mr. Rizzo, there's nothing we can do for you. The only thing you could do would be to replace that pump, but you won't survive the surgery. It was like a 12-hour surgery. And he didn't want to go through that again. He couldn't have. He would have died on the table. And I just remember we were all sitting in the room, and the doctors came in to kind of say, hey, like, there's nothing more we can do for you. You might have a couple weeks left. And I just remember the life, just, you could see it leave him. Like his face when they said, Mr. Rizzo, do you understand what we're telling you? And he was just like, it's like at that moment right there, like he just died inside. It was horrible. I'll never forget that. And it was just crushing, he was fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, you have 2 weeks, and that was on Good Friday. I guess it was the Friday before Easter. That might be Good Friday, maybe not. But he died that Sunday on Easter, March 27th. And what's shitty is that, it was Easter that day, March 27th. So, like, every year it comes around, and it's like, oh, March 27th is the actual day he died. But then on Easter he died, so it's like, but it's almost like he died on 2 different days, because Easter comes around and it's like, oh, I remember Easter from 2016, my dad died. But then March 27th, Easter doesn't fall on the same date, so that's kind of crappy. But yeah, it was rough. It was, we lost him in 2016, and after that, my mom never really, she had tons of medical issues on her own. And after that, she spent so much of her time making sure he was good and taking care of him, that when he passed, it was like she almost lost like her purpose in life, and she started to kind of spiral out of control. Not out of control, but she went downhill. She had heart attacks and mental breakdowns and all sorts of stuff. It was tough. and then she died. It'll be 2 years in September. Coming up in September. So yeah. So anyway, if have a pipe in honor of my pops and my mom. Have a pipe or a drink, whatever you do. Take a moment of silence just to give them a thought. I would greatly appreciate it. It's one of those days, Father's Day, Christmas, my parents' birthdays are, they're tough days. You try to remember all the good times, but it's tough, not having your parents around, for all intents and purposes, being an orphan. It's like I don't have anybody to pick up the phone and call, for advice or whatever. But anyway, sorry it went down a somber road there, but I just had to get that off my chest. I appreciate you guys for listening. Hope you guys have a great day. And remember, as always, guys, the left lane is for passing. See you tomorrow.